From teenage phenoms who took the wrong turn after their career, to golf players who disappeared overnight and are now doing the unthinkable. Here's where these 15 golf stars are today. Paula Creamer was 19 when she became America's Golden Girl, the Pink Panther. By her mid-20s, she'd already stacked up 10 LPGA Tour wins and climbed to number 2 in the world rankings. She won the 2010 U.S. Women's Open and was pulling in more than $1.8 million in a single year. Everything about her screamed success: the pink wardrobe, the endorsements, the camera-ready smile. But that image came with a price. People weren't interested only in her golf. Some dubbed her the most attractive golfer, and ugly internet rumors swirled that she'd traded, using her body to get ahead. But she forcefully denied all those allegations. Critics then questioned whether she was more interested in building a brand than winning tournaments. Every endorsement deal felt like ammunition for someone ready to tear her down. Then her body started falling apart. Wrist and thumb injuries spiraled out of control starting in 2006. After a career-defining 4-win season in 2008, hospitalizations, including a stomach peritonitis scare and endless rehab sessions, derailed everything. Meanwhile, her personal life became tabloid fodder. Relationships with athletes and pilots, a marriage, a split, engagements. By her early 30s, the comebacks grew shorter. So did her time in the winner's circle, but that was then. So what's she doing now? Paula Creamer didn't ride off into some glamorous sunset. She took maternity leave in 2021 and gave birth to her daughter Hilton. And with chronic wrist and back injuries, she spent the past year doing Pilates, focusing on recovery, and learning to master the grill. So the end of her story? Oh, not even close. Creamer was just appointed as an assistant captain for the 2026 U.S. Solheim Cup team. The girl who couldn't escape controversy is now respected enough to lead the next generation. Next up, at just 10 years old, Michelle Wie became the youngest player ever to qualify for a USGA amateur event. 3 years later, she made history again. But let's be honest, the real story wasn't just about how young she was, it was about what came with being that young and that good. When she turned pro at 15, she didn't ease into the LPGA Tour like everyone else. She went straight for the men. Michelle competed in PGA-sanctioned events, drawing massive crowds and even bigger criticism. She only made one cut in a men's pro event, but the damage to her reputation was already done. Then, the injuries made it all worse. During a college visit to Stanford in 2007, she did backward sprints during a track workout, fell, and broke 3 bones in her left wrist. She was a 16 kid taking an insane amount of painkillers just to function. Then, in 2014, at Pinehurst No. 2, she finally silenced everyone, winning the U.S. Women's Open by 2 strokes. That should have been the redemption story, except the pressure never left. So, what does she do now? Well, she retired and turned to another sport: investments. Yeah, she became an investor in To Get the XR, the company behind the viral Everyone Watches Women's Sports t-shirt, which generated $6 million in revenue last year. She's also the tournament host and brand ambassador for the Mizuho America's Open, a deal that extends through 2030. And she's now married to Johnny West, and they have 2 kids. She recently admitted she never wanted to retire that early, but had to make, in her own words, a hard medical decision caused by her biggest regret: training like a man. Coming in next. If there was a face of women's golf in the early 2000s, it was Natalie Gulbis. She turned herself into a brand before anyone knew what that meant. She played over 360 pro events, won the 2007 Evian Masters, and became a reliable U.S. Solheim Cup player. But that's not why people knew her name. In 2004, the USGA banned her self-produced swimsuit calendar from being sold at events for being too racy. So naturally, demand exploded everywhere else. She posed for FHM magazine, did revealing photo shoots, and became the center of a raging debate. Was she demeaning women's golf? Or just bringing it the attention it desperately needed? Fellow pros weren't exactly thrilled. Some whispered that her marketability was way bigger than her trophy collection. Jealousy? Maybe. But the criticism was loud. People questioned whether her looks or her game came first. Through it all, she was battling a severe back ailment that required years of surgeries and painkillers just to keep playing. So, what in the world is she doing now? Natalie officially retired after the 2020 season, but she's planning a last LPGA in 2026. Because of course she is. She's never been good at staying quiet. These days, she's a golf commentator and analyst, especially on Fox, and runs her own business ventures, including the NR1 brand and her show 18 Holes. She married Josh Rodermel, and they reportedly live in Miami, a far cry from the tabloid circus of her earlier years. She still plays occasionally, mentors, and shows up at high-profile industry events. But Natalie Golbis is an unsolved riddle. Always one comeback, one headline or one bold business move away from surprising everyone all over again. Next up, Jessica Korda had everything going for her. Daughter of tennis pros, older sister to Nelly. And at just 18, she won the 2012 Women's Australian Open 6 LPGA Tour titles, three-time Solheim Cup competitor. With her statuesque build, striking looks, and famous family, she was supposed to be the face of American golf's future. But Jessica never played it safe. She made headlines for criticizing the U.S. developmental systems in golf, suggesting homegrown players were losing ground to global talent, especially from Asia. Then she and her sister sarcastically blasted the LPGA over an unfavorable rule. She called out event organizers and the media for unfair treatment. And when that wasn't enough, her body started breaking down. Starting in 2023, Jessica pulled out of big tournaments and took an indefinite break from the LPGA due to a persistent back injury. Earlier, she'd struggled with jaw surgery and recurring health issues. The family comparisons made all the pressure worse. Nelly was vaulting up the rankings, winning majors, becoming the best in the world. And people loved to speculate about sibling rivalry, what Jessica could have been without the injuries. But what does she do now? After her 2023 LPGA break, Jessica became a first-time mom. Her social media went from tournament prep to family moments and subtle hints that parenting matters more than leaderboards, at least for now. But the competitive itch is still alive. Korda is set to return at the Grant Thornton Invitational in December 2025, her first official event in 2.5 years. She's eyeing a full comeback in 2026. But will she reclaim her old fire, or has her focus turned for good? We will see. Coming in next, Lily Mooney, who moved from China as a child and tore through junior circuits before lighting up collegiate play at USC. She won the 2018 Prasco Charity Championship and built nearly 400,000 Instagram followers before most people even knew her name. She wasn't just a golfer, she was a brand. But that's the tricky part. Despite entering the LPGA in 2019 and posting strong finishes like a T5, at the 2021 Walmart NW Arkansas Championship, Mooney has never won an LPGA Tour event. Sure, she had great endorsements and modeling deals with Nike, WeChat, and Bettinardi, but competing, not so much. Every relationship update, especially with F1 driver Alex Albon, was labeled a career move by tabloids and fan speculation. Some accused her of sacrificing her game for vanity. So, that narrative stuck. Beautiful, fashionable, talented, but maybe distracted. Maybe missing out on her athletic potential. So, what's she doing now? This month, Mooney was disqualified from the Aramco China Championship after signing an incorrect scorecard in front of her home crowd in Shenzhen. She handled it with accountability, but the drama was undeniable. It was the first time in 20 years she'd made that mistake in competition. Outside competitive mishaps, Mooney stays front and center as a fashion and social media icon. Recent features in Vogue. A million-strong Instagram following her relationship with Alex Albon is almost as public as her LPGA appearances, leading people to question if golf is even her main passion anymore, or if she's quietly shifting toward full-time influencer model adventurer life. Honestly, her story is still unfolding. And for now, the uncertainty is all we have. Back in his day, John Daly wasn't just known for breaking the rules of golf. Wait, honestly, that sounds way too soft. Daly basically set them on fire and walked away laughing long drives, mullets, fast food, and big living. In 1991, he won the PGA Championship as the 9th alternate, instantly branding himself as golf's bad boy. 5 PGA Tour wins 2 major championships, but also countless missed cuts, erratic rounds, and spectacular self-destructions. He had more chaos than trophies. He walked off courses mid-round, hurled scorecards, got into fistfights with other golfers, smashed fans' cameras in fits of rage. He competed shirtless, shoeless, was cited repeatedly for failing to give best effort. The PGA suspended and fined him repeatedly for wild behavior. On top of that, there was the gambling thing. Daly lost more than $55 million across his career. including $1.65 million in a single night. During one fight, he threw $55,000 into a river, just because from that, chronic alcoholism followed. The PGA ordered him to seek counseling or rehab at least 7 times. Every comeback was haunted by new controversy or breakdown, yet somehow there was this strange, irresistible charisma. He became a cult hero whose raw honesty about his failures connected with fans far beyond the sport. Now, at nearly 60, Daly plays mostly on the PGA Tour Champions with a body battered by 16 surgeries in 4 years, 2 knee replacements, and ongoing bouts with cancer. After hand surgery, reports say he's about 80%. But he wakes up grateful just to play, a far cry from his reckless youth. And off the course, he's become an advocate for addiction awareness, openly sharing his story in hopes of helping others. His appearances now are more about raising awareness than chasing big paydays. By the late 1970s, Jan Stevenson had already stacked up 16 LPGA victories and 3 major championships. Elite talent. But that's not what made headlines. In the early 80s, she posed for nude Playboy-style bathtub photo shoots. The LPGA, desperate for bigger TV deals and exposure, leaned into it. They promoted her as both a superstar and a sex symbol, hoping to draw new and male crowds with her blend of talent and glamour. The strategy exploded. Veteran golfers lashed out, saying Stevenson's sex sells approach undermined respect for women's golf. The locker room turned against her. She was excluded from meetings and practice rounds. The LPGA fined her multiple times for clashing with leadership and skipping mandated events. Then, she started saying things that made the photo shoots look tame. Stevenson repeatedly criticized the rising number of non-English-speaking Asian players, saying that language barriers hurt the pro-am experience for sponsors. But that wasn't the only thought she had. She also called for more sex appeal on the LPGA to bring more fans and sponsors in. She said, and I'm quoting here, "They won't keep watching if the girls aren't beautiful." Oh, and she also warned that a visible lesbian presence on tour damaged the tour's image. I know, let's just say she was as famous for what she said or wore as for how she played. Today, Jan Stevenson is still hard to ignore, but her controversies have faded into a sort of legacy brand. Now in her 70s, she runs a successful rum business called Jan Stevenson's Rum. She owns and designs golf courses, makes periodic appearances as a celebrity guest and brand ambassador. And in 2019, she was finally inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. Still divides LPGA fans, but only a legend could do that, I guess. Next up, Brooke Henderson is famous for a lot of things, but playing it safe isn't one of them. After bursting onto the LPGA scene in her teens, she became known for ultra-aggressive play and an illegally long 48-inch driver that helped her launch drives routinely outdistancing the competition 14 LPGA Tour titles, including multiple majors. The most decorated Canadian golfer ever. But her success came with baggage. Critics targeted her family team setup, her father as coach and sister, Brittany, as caddy. Some insiders whispered that depending so much on family limited her ability to grow. Others defended their unique chemistry as her secret weapon. That debate never really stopped. Then, in 2022, golf's rulemakers capped driver lengths at 46 inches. Suddenly, Henderson had to completely rebuild her swing and confidence. Alongside that, she weathered seasons of back pain, competing through injuries she mostly kept private. Unlike other stars who would take long absences, Henderson's stubbornness kept her in the headlines, but also raised questions about sustainability and longevity. Yet Henderson let her results do the talking, until the results stopped coming as easily. Fast forward to now, and things have shifted. Henderson is refocused and back in the winner's circle after a 2-year title drought. Her cathartic victory at home in the CPKC Women's Open was, by her own admission, a massive confidence boost. She continues competing at the highest level. But the road has been anything but smooth. Injuries and the adjustment to shorter equipment saw her form waver, and she's spoken about the pressure of being the face of Canadian golf. Of course, that pressure hasn't defeated her. Yet, her competitive fire still burns as hot as ever. Coming in next, Lorena Ochoa showed up to the LPGA Tour in 2003 and became unstoppable. She won her first tournament in 2004, becoming the first Mexican-born player to win on the LPGA over her career. She racked up 27 LPGA titles, including 2 major championships, and held the #1 world ranking for an incredible 158 consecutive weeks. a record in the LPGA. On top of that, she became the first female golfer to earn over $4 million in a single season. Her powerful and consistent play made her arguably the greatest female golfer of her generation. Then, at the peak of her career and global fame, she walked away. In 2010, at just 28 years old, she cited a desire to spend more quality time with her family and pursue other passions beyond the sport. Despite all the potential for more achievements, she was done. The golf world was stunned. Unlike most athletes who fade out, she left at the top on her own terms. Throughout her career, she maintained a relatively controversy-free profile, focused on her game, rising stardom, no scandals, no drama, just dominance. And then she disappeared from the spotlight. Or did she? Since retirement, Lorena Ochoa has led a quieter life centered around family and philanthropy. She married businessman Andres Conesa in 2009, and they had 3 children. But this year, the couple announced their divorce, though they stressed mutual respect and focus on their children's well-being. Apart from that, Ochoa spends her time with the Lorena Ochoa Foundation, supporting kids in Guadalajara and promoting Mexican golf talent. She's also building public courses to grow the sport. And after being inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 2017, she remains a true icon in Mexico and the golf world. Next up, Anthony Kim was supposed to be the future. 3 PGA Tour wins before 25, Ryder Cup and President's Cup appearances. He climbed to 6th in the world rankings and had the kind of charisma that made him a fan favorite golf needed him, and he looked ready to deliver. Then, in 2012, after surgery on his left Achilles tendon, he vanished. Not just from tournaments, from golf entirely. Injury issues piled up, including spinal fusion surgery. But the real story was darker. Anthony later revealed he'd been battling addiction to drugs and alcohol for nearly 2 decades. He played majors while making porta-potty stops every few holes just to hide what was happening. For years, he contemplated ending his life. Nobody knew. He kept it buried while competing at the highest level. There was also speculation about a massive insurance payoff, reportedly at least $10 million that may have restricted him from returning to professional golf. The mystery was there. Everybody assumed he was done for good. Then, in 2024, Anthony Kim shocked the golf world by joining LIV Golf after nearly 12 years away. But when he stepped back into the spotlight, people couldn't stop talking about one thing: his face. His nose looked completely different, flattened, asymmetrical, nothing like before. What was that? Nobody knows, but he had openly discussed his addiction struggles and dark mental health battles. He framed his comeback as a journey of recovery and redemption, proving to himself that he can still compete and win against the world's best. Coming in next, Paige Spiranak played college golf at the University of Arizona and San Diego State before turning pro in 2015. She had talent, she had ambition, but what she got instead was a nightmare. At her first professional event, the Dubai Ladies Masters, she faced brutal rumors that she'd performed sexual favors to get tournament invitations. The allegations were false, but they spread fast. Her performance tanked under the scrutiny, and her professional career never really took off. She earned less than $10,000 in her best season. But while her game struggled, something else exploded: her social media presence. Paige leaned into bold, glamorized golf attire and candid personal storytelling. Critics accused her of sexualizing golf and not taking the sport seriously. The golf establishment treated her like an outsider cashing in on looks rather than skill. But she kept posting, and the audience kept growing. Massive brand deals followed, like Callaway, Women's Health, and Lululemon. She turned social media into a multi-million-dollar business while the traditional golf world dismissed her as a sideshow. The backlash was relentless, but so was she. So where did all that lead her? Now, Paige has fully transitioned into content creation and become one of the most influential voices in golf. She even is on a subscription-based platform where fans pay for exclusive content. I know what you're thinking, but it's not that one. But anyway, that only brought more heat on her for sexualizing the sport. The question that's still here is, will she ever return to competitive golf? She's hinted at it, but for now she's built something bigger than tournaments. A platform where vulnerability, humor, and smart marketing all come together. Up next, Patrick Reed won 9 PGA Tour events, including the 2018 Masters. He earned the nickname Captain America for standout Ryder Cup performances that made him a hero to some and a villain to everyone else. The problem? Reed couldn't stay out of controversy. In 2019, he was penalized for moving sand behind his ball in a waste area, a blatant rules violation that shocked even casual fans. But that wasn't the first time his integrity had been questioned. Author Shane Ryan accused Reed of cheating in a team qualifying round at the University of Georgia and stealing from teammates. Reed denied everything, claiming his coaches signed declarations affirming he never cheated or stole. He blamed unnamed sources and baseless allegations. But it wasn't enough. Then, in 2021 at the Farmers Insurance Open, he sought relief for an embedded ball under circumstances so questionable that even after getting official clearance, people still accused him of bending the rules. So what's he doing now? Well, he left for Live Golf in 2022, a move that cost him PGA Tour eligibility, and most people figured his reputation was permanently torched. But then something more interesting happened. He captured his first LIV event in Dallas in mid-2025 and posted a solo third-place finish at the Masters, his best result at Augusta since his 2018 victory. He climbed to number 49 in the world rankings and locked spots in upcoming major championships, including the PGA Championship and the Open. His competitive fire hasn't dimmed. If anything, it's stronger. But the reputation? Oh well, that's the part that won't budge. His story is a classic redemption arc, except redemption requires forgiveness. And golf fans aren't exactly known for their short memories. Coming in next, Lexi Thompson turned pro at 15 and became a powerhouse with 15 professional wins, a major title at the 2014 Kraft Nabisco Championship, and exceptional length off the tee. She was everything women's golf needed: young, talented, and fearless. Then came the 2017 ANA Inspiration. Lexi was leading by 2 shots in the final round when tournament officials informed her of a rules violation from the day before. A TV viewer had called in to report she'd marked her ball incorrectly on the green. The LPGA penalized her 4 strokes, 2 for the violation, 2 more for signing an incorrect scorecard. Because of it, she lost the tournament. But the damage went deeper than just one tournament, because after that, the scrutiny intensified. She faced body image pressures in golf and spoke openly about the importance of embracing her body and rejecting unrealistic comparisons that could lead to misery. In short, the pressure of being a phenom who turned pro as a teenager caught up with her. So, what happened to her? Recently, Lexi Thompson scaled back her tournament schedule dramatically, down to about 10 events per season instead of a full tour grind. In recent events like the 2025 Anika, she's mixed solid performances with missed cuts. Her competitive spirit is still there, but it's not driving her life anymore. She's essentially semi-retired, prioritizing mental health and emotional well-being over chasing leaderboards. And with a reason, because she's now preparing for a major life milestone, her wedding to fiancé Max Provost. Apparently, the girl who broke down on TV in 2017 has rebuilt herself into someone who refuses to let golf consume her anymore. Next up, before Tiger Woods, before viral highlights, Rocco Mediate was quietly carving out a career defined by precision and grit. He turned pro in 1985 and won 6 PGA Tour victories. He was a craftsman, precise shot-making, relentless work ethic, the kind of player who earned respect without flashy headlines. But he's remembered for one moment, the 2008 US Open. Rocco went toe-to-toe with Tiger Woods in a dramatic 19-hole playoff at Torrey Pines. He lost, but the way he battled, gritty, determined, refusing to fold, turned him into a legend for coming so close. What people didn't know then was what he was dealing with off the course. Rocco was a habitual alcoholic. He drank daily, sometimes during competitive rounds. He later admitted on Golf Channel that when the pain from chronic back issues kicked in, drinking wasn't optional. It was just going to happen. He couldn't remember a single day without a drink for years leading up to October 2017. He said he'd hide alcohol in various places on the course. Was it every round? No, but most of the time? Yes, his drinking problem was slowly destroying him. So, what finally changed? In October 2017, with the help of his wife Jessica, Rocco quit drinking for good. And now, at 62, he still competes in select PGA Tour Champions events. Though he recently withdrew from the Gallery Classic, but his real role now? Golf's candid elder statesman. He's built a reputation as a blunt analyst and commentator. For example, he publicly criticized Colin Morikawa for refusing media interviews after poor performances, and he's even spoken out against LIV Golf for not respecting the traditions of the game. But hey, this is a man who survived a lot. Now he's the guy who tells it like it is, whether players want to hear it or not. Coming in next, Robert Allenby built a career most golfers would envy. 21 wins worldwide, two-time PGA Tour of Australasia, Order of Merit winner. And in 2005, the only player to claim Australia's Triple Crown in a single year, but majors? Never finished higher than a tie for 7th. His career was respectable, not legendary. Then came January 2015 in Hawaii. Allenby missed the cut at the Sony Open and went drinking with his caddy Mick Middlemoe and a friend. Next thing you know, he woke up bloodied at a nearby park discovered by a homeless woman without his credit cards, wallet, or phone. He posted a selfie of his injuries and told the world he'd been roofied, kidnapped, beaten, robbed, thrown into the trunk of a car, and dumped. Then the story started falling apart. The homeless woman denied the kidnapping aspect. His caddy said he believed Allenby fell and hit his head, and the police couldn't prove he was assaulted. Meanwhile, the Golf Channel initially reported that Allenby had spent hours at a strip club that night. Police later confirmed this was untrue, but it was too late. Rumors destroyed his reputation, and his PGA Tour career tanked as well as mental health. As a result, he went on antidepressants for 6 years. So what's he doing now? After turning 50 in 2021, Allenby shifted to the PGA Tour Champions for a second chance at competitive golf. He hasn't captured a senior major championship, but he's back on the course without the intense scrutiny that plagued his earlier years. Now he's keeping things low-key, focused on the future, leaving the chaos of his past behind. People may still doubt what went down in Hawaii, but he couldn't care less now.